People can argue all day whether Macs or PCs are the better computers, but for me, it always comes down to one thing, and that is simply that Macs can run Mainstage software. I love that I can connect my keyboard into it and play some amazing sounds. The problem is that new Macs are expensive, so if that's the thing that's been keeping you from using Mainstage, I want to show you some things that you can do to get a great used Mac and save a lot of money. Hey everybody, my name is Peter. Thanks for joining me at OurWorshipSound. I want to walk you through some steps that I've used to purchase used Macs on several occasions. I've gotten good results with it, always end up satisfied with computers that I've gotten, and saved lots of money in the process. So we are going to use eBay.com. If you've been scared to use eBay before, I want to walk you through some steps that you can use to minimize your risk. Some of this information might be relevant to purchasing through other sellers as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to eBay. And first of all, we're going to type in MacBook, either MacBook Pro or MacBook Air. Don't just go with MacBook unless you specify later whether you want an Air or a Pro. There are a couple reasons why, but for now, let's go with MacBook Air. The Pro is more powerful, has a better screen, it's more expensive. The Air is lightweight, nice and portable. Get it for a little bit less. For what it's worth, I use a MacBook Air. So once we're here at eBay, we've got that search term in there. The first thing that we need to do is specify some of our search terms and kind of narrow down the specifications that we want for our machine. First of all, we have the year. Now, you need to make sure that it's 2012 or newer. You can save money, obviously, by buying an older machine, but make sure it's not any older than 2012. We see the list is refreshed now. We see only 2012 models. Now, let's select the amount of memory we're going to have. 4 is the minimum you need for Mainstage. 8 is recommended. Now, unlike a lot of other computers, recent MacBooks are built in a way that you cannot upgrade the memory on your own. So don't buy a 2 gig machine thinking that I can just buy some cheap memory and put it in here later. It doesn't work that way. You're not going to be able to do that. So if you can spend a little bit more, I would recommend going with the 8 gigabyte now. Now we're going to select screen size. You might be able to save a little bit of money by going with 11.6. I would recommend going with 13.3. Hard drive capacity is kind of an important consideration. The sound library that comes along with Mainstage is 49 gigabytes currently. That doesn't really work to put that on a 128 gigabyte machine. Now I do use a 128 gig hard drive, but I don't have the full Mainstage sound set installed on it. So you can save money and get a 128 gig because that's kind of the standard base model. But just know that you're going to have to be a little bit selective as far as which elements of the Mainstage sound library you download and install. Let's go ahead and select 128 gigs for now. Operating system, if you purchase a 2012 machine or newer, you should be able to easily upgrade for free to the latest operating system and get what you need that way. So I don't think the operating system is going to be a consideration. You can just click not specified or just leave that. For storage type, you do want a solid state drive. Now at this point, it's time to do some market research and just kind of get a feel for what these computers are selling for. So to find out, we're going to scroll down to the show only completed items. And then we're going to see which machines have sold and which ones haven't. Now, this price is in green, meaning it successfully sold at that price. This is not in green, meaning it did not sell at that price. So you can just ignore the ones that have black prices on them. The green prices are what we're after. Okay, now, when we get to this point, we're going to sort this by price, lowest price plus shipping. Now, you want to be careful when you get to this. Don't get too excited when you start to look at this list because most of these first few listings are going to be non-functioning machines that are being sold just for parts. Okay, and that is the case if you look through here. Now, if you get to any that say trending, let's see if there are any on this page. Okay, not on this page. Sometimes you'll see a trending at price, which will tell you, about what things are going for. If you don't see that, you'll just kind of have to manually go through and get a feel for what these are selling for. So this one was selling for $480. This is $435. Let's go ahead and dig in here real quick. Just make sure everything's up to par with this. Pre-owned unit's been tested. We're now ready for use. So it's been tested. That's good. You want to check out the seller. This is a high Octane seller here. Let's see if they have a good score. 3 negative feedback out of that many is not terrible. 99.3%. That's pretty good. Okay, so that gives you some idea where we are. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to start looking for specific machines that we might actually be interested in purchasing. So we're going to unclick the completed items. And now we're looking at live listings. Or we should be looking at live listings. We only have 2 of them. Let's take some of the parameters off. Maybe take the year off. Or let's add a few more options, 13 and 14 on there. So that'll give us some more options. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to start looking at some of the buy it now prices. Okay, so any of these that are available, if you just put in the purchase price, dead screen, we don't want that one, obviously. $4.59, that might be a decent one. Let's go ahead and check that one out. Okay, so once we're looking at individual listings, here's what we want to pay attention to. Number one, you want to pay attention to the seller. Do they have a positive feedback score of over 99%? Okay. Also, you want to look at how many transactions they've been involved with. So this seller has done 2,545 transactions. So that means that they've bought and sold a lot on eBay. They've had a good track record. This would be somebody that I would be willing to buy from. You want to look at the shipping cost. Sometimes the shipping is free. Sometimes there's an additional shipping cost that you need to figure into your final purchase price. Processor speed is kind of an optional thing. This is listed at 140 gigahertz. Yeah, an i5 processor at 1.4. If you purchase within these parameters, you know, not older than 2012, the variation on the processor speed is not going to be that much. And in my opinion, my assessment is that all these processor speeds that you're going to encounter are going to work. They're going to be workable options for Mainstage. That doesn't mean you're not going to have to maybe simplify a patch here and there, but for the most part, they're gonna do what you're asking them to do with Mainstage. Also in the listing, we want to look for what is missing. Really, the only things that you need with this purchase are just the computer and the power cord. Okay, sometimes it'll say that the power cord is missing. This would be a good one because there's a lot of description from the seller. It's not just the the generic specifications for the computer that Apple provides. This has a good description, but it does say the power adapter is not included with purchase. So that's something that you want to take into account when you're deciding whether the purchase price is going to be good for that listing. If there's not a power adapter, just subtract $40 from what you'd be willing to pay for something fully functioning. You can use that $40 to buy a new power cord. Also, in the listing, we want to look at photos. Okay, now this one's a little bit concerning because there is only one actual photo. This is a stock photo from Apple. We know what a new one looks like. We want to know what the actual item looks like. This is a photo of the ceiling. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. So that's not very. So that would be kind of a strike against buying this one. I wouldn't. Probably wouldn't feel very comfortable. Although the description kind of balances out. It's a good description. You kind of have to take everything into account. Also, in the descriptions, are there any defects? Dents, dings, scratches. A lot of times you'll see maybe a dent on a corner if it's been dropped. If the screen isn't cracked, if there's a little dent. I've got a little skid mark on mine. It kind of goes with the territory. These aluminum frames will they'll dent. They won't crack. So it's just kind of, it's unusual to find a MacBook that's a few years old that doesn't have at least one dented corner on it. So that's just kind of how it goes. So once you have a good feel for the buy it now prices, now let's look at some of the actual auction listings. I'm going to come down here and select auction under buying format, and we only have whatever that is. I think it's just the box. So we're going to widen our search parameters a little bit, and let's add the 4 GB memory option. There we're going to have 7 more auction listings. Okay. Now, as far as these prices, make sure that you don't get, again, too excited when you see this, because these prices are all going to go up as it gets closer to the end of the auction. Now, as far as actually how you place a bid, Let's say that we're going to bid on this one. The way that you place a bid, eBay has a system where you can put in your maximum bid, the most that you're willing to bid on it, and eBay will bid on your behalf up to that point. So you put in your bid, and then somebody kind of raises you, and then I'll raise it a little bit more. The problem with that is that some buyers will kind of test you and see if they can figure out what your maximum bid is and then go a little bit higher. So at that point, you've lost the auction. What I use is called a sniping service, okay? And so here's how we do that. I'll just walk you through the steps. We need to locate the eBay item number, which is this really tiny number over here. It might be easier just to copy it from the URL. It's just all these numbers up here. Okay, so I'm going to copy that. Now we're going to go to a site called Gixxon.com. And Gixxon is I found them to be a very secure, reputable service. So what we're going to do is put in your eBay username and password. Then there are a couple of screens to kind of click through. Click Not Now, continue to my account. And again. So what I'm going to do is paste the item number in there. And let's say my maximum bid is $425, which would be very low. Then I can put that in there. I'm not going to do that right now because I do not actually want to bid on this item. Okay, and then what happens is Gixxon, the sniping service, will wait until the last 5 seconds of the auction to actually bid for you. And so what happens is they put in your bid, and then nobody has the opportunity to see what you've bid and try to go higher than you. So it's actually your maximum bid, and then nobody has a chance to kind of outbid you at that point. One of the nicest things about this is, let's say you go through and you find 5 different machines that you want to bid on. You can put them all in here at once and give them a group number. So if I place item numbers for 4 different MacBooks in this list and I put them all as group 1, all as the same group number, then what happens is if I win one of those, then it will cancel the bids on the other one. So you don't have to worry about ending up with 4 or 5 MacBooks. If you win one, or if say you lose a couple, it'll keep bidding. It'll go on down your list with the auctions as they end. But if you win one, it will cancel the other items in that group. And so you don't have to worry about ending up with more than one of what you want. Okay. So that's how to bid on an auction. Now, there's always risk when you purchase a used item, and I've gotten really good results with this, but that's not to say that there isn't any risk involved, because there is. And so take that into account. But here are some ways to minimize the risk. Number 1 is you want to pay really, really close attention to the seller's feedback. Okay, they need to have 99% or above for their positive feedback. And you need to make sure their feedback score is at least 50 or higher. Some people would probably place it higher than that. But if it's 50 and 100%, I would feel safe with that. But make sure, if it's 0, end of story. If it's below 99%, move on. Okay, don't mess around with those sellers. They haven't been tested yet. Okay. The other thing is you can't actually purchase a warranty with a used Mac, or you can get some of the original warranty. And what you can do is search. Let's say we want to do a MacBook Pro. What you want to do is add Apple Care to your search, and then it will return some different listings that still have the original warranty on them. Now they're going to be more recent machines. They're going to be more expensive, but you can get some of the actual Apple customer service that goes along with this. So this says it has Apple Care till 2018. They'll probably list a specific month. Apple Care 2017, there might be a specific month in there, so you know what you're getting. But great customer service if you have the Apple Care for as long as you have it. So that's one thing to look for. The other way to get a warranty is to purchase one through Square Trade, and if your item is if it's eligible for a Square Trade warranty, it'll usually show up right here, and you can purchase a 1-year warranty for a pretty reasonable price. So a couple ways to reduce risk there. The other big one is to, when you check out with eBay, use PayPal and pay for it with a credit card, because both PayPal and a credit card will give you options if something with your purchase doesn't go as planned. A lot of detailed information, a lot of steps given here. These steps are all listed on the blog post, which I will give as a link in the description and in the upper right hand corner now. So I want to reiterate again, this system is not perfect. I've had very good results with it, but there's a certain amount of risk no matter even if you follow it. So tried to show you how to minimize the risk and hopefully end up with a great computer. We'll see. So again, if having a Mac has been the one thing that's kept you from using Mainstage, hopefully this helps. Mainstage is one of the best things that's ever happened to me as a keyboard player. I'm definitely not going back to not using it, and that is the number one reason why I will always have a Mac for some purpose anyway. So thanks for watching. Check out the blog post for more details and the steps as they were listed here, and we'll see you soon.